Yeah, Bitcoin is kind of difficult when it comes to privacy. So my approach in general would be to just, yeah, sorry guys, but I hodl only Bitcoin and use Monero for transactions when it's convenient. And that I try to use it more, but it's same as with Bitcoin Lightning, right? Where can you use it? And I could say, okay, yeah, I go to my own store, but that is kind of idiotic. So
Monero Talk is sponsored by Cake Wallet, a trustless, open source wallet that gives you the keys to your crypto. Invoice, donate, and trade your Monero with peace of mind, piece of cake. And by StealthyX, an instant exchange where privacy is a top concern. Go to stealthyx.io to instantly exchange between Monero and 450 plus assets without having to create an account or register, and with no limits, making StealthyX a simple way to purchase Monero with crypto anonymously. Monero Talk is also made possible from contributions by viewers and listeners like you, and supporting us is easier than ever by typing in monerotalk.crypto in your monero.com or Cake Wallet send address field to send us a tip. This week on Monero Talk, Douglas Tuman interviews Lando Rothbardian, CEO of online retailer ShopInBit, which accepts Bitcoin and Monero for payment. The discussion explores Lando's background, how ShopInBit started accepting Monero, Monero privacy protections, ShopInBit product offerings, the impacts of exchange delistings, business expansion plans, and much more. Monero Talk starts now.
All right, Lando, what's going on, man?
Hi, Douglas. Doing fine. Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited in general because I think this is my first Monero podcast that I'm appearing on. So I'm interested what the difference is between a Monero and a Bitcoin podcast. But oh no, wait, it's a kind of the second one, but the other one was more focused on anarcho-capitalism.
Okay.
So it doesn't really count.
Whose was that? Was that whose podcast was that?
Oh no, I'm blanking on the name. Was
it Alex Anarcha?
Yes, it was Alex Anarcha.
Okay,
Thank you.
You said anarcho-capitalist. I was like, it must be Alex Anarcha.
Yes. Sorry, Alex. I love you, man, but I just blanked out. I'm getting old. Yeah.
He's awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah. So,
when did you do that? Was that a long time ago, or was that recently?
I would say 2021-ish.
Okay,
yeah.
It's a while ago.
Yeah, it's a while ago, and lots has changed. Yeah.
So, how'd you meet Alex? And are you in that? Obviously, you're in the crypto realm.
Yeah.
But you're over in Europe, right? I guess I don't know how detailed you want to be, but I guess so. He's kind of in your social network in terms of crypto people over there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm originally from Germany, and there you start learning all the German community members of the whole cryptosphere. And I didn't met Alex in person, but we shared, well, as you can see in my name, like there is no more NCAP that you can go, I guess, in terms of nicknames. But so Alex and we were just, I think, regularly chatting either on Telegram or Twitter or whatever. And he saw me on some other podcasts, and then he wanted to talk to me about like what's it like being NCAP and an entrepreneur in Europe. Oh my God, yeah, like. Because Europe is like a different type of beast. I had this conversation with an American friend a while ago, and he explained to me how the whole credit card system works in the US for companies. And I was like, yeah, so you're playing Kirby and we're over here doing Dark Souls because like it's so complicated. But But sorry, I'm digressing. Please, you have to cut me off because I'll start talking about topics for 20 minutes nonstop.
No worries, man. It's a podcast, right? They want to hear from you. They don't want to hear from me. So the Rothbardian thing is now. Were you an ANCAP before you discovered crypto, or was like crypto your way towards becoming an ANCAP?
No, I was actually first ANCAP and then found love in a hopeless place. No, it's so in 2010, 29-ish, I discovered Austrian economics through the Mises Institute. That was actually the second stage. The first stage was Stefan Molyneux podcast that I was listening to. Somehow I stumbled upon it, and or was it? I'm not 100% sure. It's one of the no. Okay, now I got it. So first Mises, then Bitcoin through Stefan Molyneux, and then I was crypto and Bitcoin, and now it's actually only Bitcoin and Monero. That's like the only two things that I'm interested in. So I started, and no fucking around with that. Like, so don't come at me with your Doge or Litecoin or whatever. It's just Bitcoin or Monero. The rest, sorry, bros, I don't care. Like, it's that simple. But no, I started with the Mises Institute. I learned there lots of about Austrian economics, and my problem for Austrian economics and especially anarcho-capitalism was that the solution seemed always to be like, okay, we need the gold standard back, right? Yeah. And I always had, I was always thinking, okay, so we do the same that didn't work in the past again. That's like a non-solution, right? And then in 2011, I stumbled over Bitcoin through Stefan Molyneux, and then I read the Bitcoin white paper and was like, oh shit, that's actually the solution for the gold standard problem, right? So I was hooked there, but before someone thinks I can just straight up buy out Jeff Bezos out of his company, no, unfortunately not, because I was very young and stupid. So I spent most of my coin on pretty ladies and expensive dinner dates. So you get the point.
I mean, one life to live, right? It's at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's money, right? It's like you know.
I was the king. Like, it was awesome, but in hindsight, it's always 2020, I guess. But yeah, so
very cool.
I call it tuition money.
So you were literally at the right place, right time. I mean, you were becoming an ANCAP at the moment, like Bitcoin was essentially being invented, right? So you're right place, right time. That's beautiful. So in the early days, I mean, I guess right away you kind of got it right away. You saw, because of where you were coming from with your ANCAP background understanding, when you saw Bitcoin, you knew right away, like, this is what we need. This is it. This is decentralized money. This is digital gold.
Yeah, that was like, okay, so you can, of course, fight the state through legislation like Milei does currently in Argentina, but we will see how effective that will be. But the past showed us that legislation changes didn't really do a lot. So, but with Bitcoin, you can just circumvent it. And the same applies to Monero, I guess, as well, especially after the Binance delisting. I think it's a very interesting development. So,
that's my second. So, what was your pathway to Monero then? Was it just a realization of Bitcoin lacking privacy?
No, not really, actually. That's we have to fast forward to like, oh, I didn't really introduce myself, so because then the next part will not make a lot of sense. So I'm Lando Rothbardian. I'm the CEO of ShopInBit.com, and we are Europe's biggest Bitcoin and Monero store with over 1 million products that we offer. So it's everything from toothpaste to the newest iPhone, And we also do other stuff through our concierge service that you can go get anything from, I don't know, a car like a Lamborghini or some other cars to an airplane and everything in between. Like we did some
Amazing.
Funny stuff in the days. And we also have a travel agency. So if you have Monero and want to travel with more convenience, I have to put a big asterisk on the privacy, because traveling in privacy is very difficult and mostly illegal. But if you want to have the best experience, that's the same as well. So that's enough with the shameless plug. So
no, we'll get to that in much greater detail. Don't worry, I was gonna get there. Don't worry, I was gonna get there. I know it was a little weird. I didn't intro you yet, but
no problem. So how did I get into Monero? So when we started actually back then it was only me. So in 2019. I guess, in the middle of the year, one of our customers wrote me, "Hey, why don't you accept Monero?" And I was like, okay, well, back then we were still on WordPress. And I was like, okay, I've heard of Monero, like the privacy coin. Everyone knows Monero as the privacy coin, right? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't used it that much back then. And yeah, so I implemented it. And it turned out that Monero customers are like, yeah, there are only two coins that are always being used for paying or buying stuff, and that's Bitcoin and Monero. And there's no third place, because third place is fiat money. That's the experience that I have. So that was like the gateway drug, I guess, for Monero to come into the play for me personally as well. Yeah.
But you were open to it at that time, or you were like, yeah, I'm a Bitcoin maxi at this point in my life. I don't know. This is a shit coin. Or you were like, you had respect from day one.
Back then, I was actually still shitcoining pretty hard.
Oh, okay.
So like with Dash and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and stuff, and that changed over the years, because what I saw was that the other coins apart from Monero and Bitcoin, they were only coming to drop or dump their coins when it goes up. It's not there's nothing recurring, let's say no purchase of value in a long-term sense, like long-term customer relationships. You just saw it was always okay. Like Bitcoin Cash, for example, just it went up one time, and you see, okay, the orders go up with Bitcoin Cash, and then they drop to zero, like the next week. Like there's nothing stable. But Monero has been consistent on second place for like, I think now 3-4 years. So that's why I have respect for Monero. I think all other coins are shit coins, but for Monero has a special place in my heart, because I see that people are actually using it, and I see the Monero community. And even when I go to Bitcoin conference, Monero people come up to me and I'm like, oh, okay, you jeopardize your OPSEC. I'm very flattered that you show up. And like, seriously, I like other Bitcoin maxis, they will hate on Monero all the time, but at the same time, she'll liquid. So fuck you, I guess. So there's like, when I see what the Monero customers have done for our business, I got nothing but love to share. And one of your Redditors actually tested our concierge service like in 2020 or something, and put it on the Monero post. Monero, what is it called? Subreddit? Yeah.
Monero subreddit.
Subreddit. Yeah, I'm not so advanced in Reddit terms, but yeah. And we always get like the best privacy tips from the Monero community, because like we had in our shop system one time, one plugin wanted to use Google Fonts, right? And we have eradicated Google Fonts from our website, but this plugin introduced it back again. And then we got a PGP encrypted email from a customer, and like, yo man, you need to stop that shit with Google Fonts, because I want to spend my Monero here. And I'm like, shit. Where? And then he sent me the code where it appeared, and then we could isolate it and then have it removed from the website again. And that's why like it's a good match. Yeah. So
Wait, he wanted you to remove Google Fonts? What was it that he wanted?
Google Fonts.
Okay, but what was his request? I
Just to remove the Google Fonts, or else
okay.
you won't use the website. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, because no, Google doesn't need to have your data. So fuck you, Google. Right?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm a privacy nerd. So as a short explanation why this is important to me, because I fucking hate online shopping and regular stores with cookies here, trackers there, and then it follows you around on every fucking web page you go that also has Google Ads integrated. And then like best example is when you try to get something for your wife, right? You want to surprise her with, I don't know, a little necklace or something for the anniversary, right? And then you type it into the yeah. So it either pops up on the credit card, or if you just search on it on the internet, it appears for everyone in the whole network, in the whole house. Oh yeah, this is a nice necklace. And I'm like, fuck it. Like, shit, I want to have a surprise, but no. And this is like the baby's little steps of privacy problems, right? This is like the easy part, right? It's just advertising, but the other parts, I don't know. Yes, so between 2020 and 2022, very bad things happened, and I don't trust anyone with my data anymore. So, yeah.
I assume you're referring to the sniffles, to the
yes,
which I have right now. I think I must have COVID again.
Probably, yeah.
So where does that leave you then with Bitcoin, right? So you're obviously, you understand the importance of privacy, especially with regards to money. How does that affect your view of Bitcoin, given that it is ultimately a transparent ledger? You can track and trace transactions. What's your thinking there?
I think without getting technical, because I'm no technical guy, so please don't ask me the times. I think I heard your talk with No Power. I think he's like 2 galaxies away from my type of knowledge of technical aspects, so I can like answer only the most basic shit. But I personally have almost no privacy anymore, because that's the funny thing, right? If you want to be the CEO of a privacy company, you cannot have privacy. Like no one will send
with
you.
my Monero show. Hey,
yeah.
Hello world. I know.
Yes, but the people need to have like a reference point on whether they can trust you or not. And although there are some, I guess, conceptual wise models for how to build a reputation with avatars and stuff, we're just human beings, and I don't know, need to see a face or something, right? So from that point of view, I'm very transparent, an asterisk, in quotation marks, right? But in general, yeah, Bitcoin is kind of difficult when it comes to privacy. So my approach in general would be to just, sorry guys, but I hodl only Bitcoin and use Monero for transactions when it's convenient. And that I try to use it more, but it's same as with Bitcoin Lightning, right? Where can you use it? And I could say, okay, yeah, I go to my own store, but that is kind of idiotic. So, but we are planning to go to MoneroCon, so there will be there I will be shopping. Sweet. Yes, I think the guys from MoneroCon don't know it yet that we'll be coming.
Awesome. I'm sure they'll be very excited to have you.
Yeah, we will be there. So this is a surprise, motherfucker. Yeah, we will be there. I will be bringing my wallet, and I hope to see other entrepreneurs showing up and trying to sell me some stuff, because I'm in a buying mood, and I always like to give back to the communities who actually do the hard work of selling stuff in this ultra free market. So
yeah, you're like, you're a major utility, right? You're providing an avenue for people to offload their crypto and actually use it.
No. They don't upload their crypto to me. That's the, like, we don't have to go to these BlackRock number go up guys talk. They are not uploading their coins. They are using their coins to purchase things.
Yeah,
exactly, that they find more valuable at the moment. So it's their own free choice to spend the coins. It's not like sometimes these Twitter discussions go out of hand and they're like, yeah, everyone who's want to sell you something for your Bitcoin or Monero is a scammer and blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. It's, I don't know. I've never heard such a bullshit argument, but because, like, if you're broke, right, then of course you're not supposed to sell or spend your coins because you have no fucking savings, right? Like personal finance 101, if you have no finance, bro, you need to change something about that. So, like, build up savings. But at one point, right, you have enough savings and then you want to live life, right? But do you really want to go back to the fiat life, pull out the credit card, spend dollars and your data at the same time for everything you do? Or do you really want to have, like, a free society, right? Do you want to have private transactions and money that doesn't lose value all the time? So that's like my personal angle. So, and if you're still only getting paid in fiat, then you might need to change something about that too. If you really want to go all into the whole circular economy, right? Then you should try it. You should try it. That's what I meant with I want to give back to the community. Because I know it's how hard it is to sell stuff for Bitcoin or Monero, because with regular fiat customers, right, they buy shit out of an impulse. Like, you can sell the stupidest shit you ever seen. You just have to go to Amazon and check out what type of products are best sellers and stuff. And you see so much plastic shit left, plastic shit right, and like, for me personally, but for some people it might have value. But most of these purchases are not even conscious purchases and you can see that by the return rates of Amazon. And Amazon has like 25% return rate. So that means every fourth order just gets sent back. Like, this is, you can talk all, yes, it's totally ridiculous. So they're all talking about environment and saving the planet, but they incentivize idiotic spending of things that people really don't need, or else they wouldn't send it back every fourth time they order something. This is totally bonkers, right? And you have the same, or you have the exactly opposite with Monero users and Bitcoin users. We're like industry leading when it comes to return rates. We have less than 1% per year return rates. So I personally know all the cases of the returns, and we've been online for 5 years. I know every single case of them because they're like, I could count them on one hand almost, or two, right? So it's infinitesimally small number because people make conscious spending decisions, and they don't buy stuff. They don't
treat it like worthless fiat. They treat it like valuable money.
Yes, right? and it's way better for me as well, because dealing with returns means you can almost certainly make a loss on the product because you cannot sell it at full price anymore, right? So that's why Amazon just drops us into a landfill. Just most of the returns, the smaller ones, they just get thrown into landfill. It's ridiculous. Like, you cannot talk all day about environment, saving, BS, and carbon taxing that, and then on the other hand, you just fill up landfills with stuff that people just took a look at it, right? Put it out of the box, took a look at it, put it back in the box, and send it back. Like, no. It's like...
Crazy.
Sorry, I'm starting to rant again.
No, it's a very good point, right? Because all of that...
Oh, money printer.
Sorry.
No worries.
Sydney's making her coffee. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, all that potentially goes away in the future, right? In a Bitcoin Monero world, Everybody's using these hard currencies, and all those other things that come with fiat start to go away. I do want to stick a little bit more on the topic though. So
Yeah.
how privately can people use your service? I mean, to what degree, right? Because I mean, ideally, they'd want to go, and I won't say offload. They'd want to go spend their Bitcoin or Monero anonymously, right?
Yeah. So what I have to say, of course, is that you cannot spend your coin anonymously. We offer privacy. So what we do is that you don't need a customer account when you shop in our store, but you of course have to provide a shipping address. So, and what we do is that we only print the billing address on the invoice if it's in the same country, right? So if you have different countries, then we have to put on the shipping address on the invoice as well. But in general, that's only the case for business users, but for private users, it's mostly the same. We support almost all postbox services, etc. So most of our customers have used them before. If you're unsure, you can always just write the concierge service and ask if that's working out before buying something. But in general, you can just use that, or be smart about it and use other tricks that I cannot publicly discuss. You have to find them out yourselves.
Okay.
So, but what we do with the customer data is after shipping it out, we pseudonymize the personal data after 40 days. So, like out of Douglas Tuman, it turns into Satoshi Nakamoto or some other gibberish, right? And then the address gets changed, etc., the email address and whatever. And you can also use simple login, for example, for your emails. We don't have a filter on that. So actually, most of our newsletter consists of simple login email address, which is pretty cool. So thanks, guys.
But you're saying people don't even need to create an account, right? Like,
no,
it's
totally optional. You can, if you want to, like.
So I could just go to ShopInBit, find something I want.
Yeah.
Go to checkout, and then just put in basically an address I want it to be sent to.
Exactly.
With a name. Right.
With a name, exactly.
Right. Okay.
And so we like. And you can check the code yourself, like I can explain to you. Like I explained, I don't like trackers and stuff. You can, when you go to shopinbit.com, you can see there's nothing. We have zero type of tracking. So there's no Google Analytics, no Facebook, Pixel, Instagram, whatever. They all are using, I don't know, there's so many tracker tools. We're not even using the open source tracking software because, like, no, I just have the basic information that the server, of course, gets. So if you're a little bit paranoid about your IP address getting into our logs, then just use a VPN. That's no problem. Only disclaimer I have to make, there is a bug with Brave browser, and you somehow cannot complete the payment process with it. And it's a Brave bug. So if you're using, I don't know, LibreWolf or some of the other browser, it works fine, but it's just Brave, and I don't know why. Yeah, we got that feedback quite a lot. So I don't know, Brave guys, what are you doing? Please, like, our terms and conditions are not a cookie tracker. You can allow it to click on it. That's the problem. If you're on the checkout page and want to accept the terms and condition, the box doesn't appear because only the Brave browser blocks it. And we've written to Brave, but they're not reacting to it. It's
okay.
Quite weird. But we're not the only shop that has this problem, so it appears to be in other shops as well. But yeah.
And so you mentioned you are essentially only Bitcoin and Monero at this point. What kind of usage are you seeing? Well, what kind of metrics can you tell us? So we are quite regularly posting on Twitter
what the usage is. So Monero was actually in November #1, and actually had percentage-wise more volume than Bitcoin because of these insane transaction fees. Oof. Oof, that was
another thing I wanted to ask you, right? Like we have the privacy issue with Bitcoin, but then we also have the transaction fees. It's not really built to be, used for transactions compared to something like Monero. So from your Rothbardian standpoint, how are you viewing those things? Obviously, the market is the market. You'll if people want to come spend their Bitcoin, you're open to it. But I mean, what's your view there as a technology with Bitcoin versus Monero in terms of being used as a tool for transacting?
Yeah. So ease of use, I think Monero wins, of course, because it's like you can just do it on chain. Why Lightning got better? Oh my God, yes, Lightning did some pretty good streaks forward, like with the Phoenix wallet. That's my personal favorite that I'm using most of the time. It's okay. So it's easy enough. So I can just, I don't know, give it to my post guy, like who delivers the packages and tell him, hey, you want to have some Bitcoin? Sure, yeah, whatever. Send it. But with Monero, it's easy. I can just load up wallet, but I'm not explaining 2 coins in a 5-minute conversation. So I'm just doing the Bitcoin part. But from a business perspective, it's pretty funny because usually I don't get asked a lot that question about the transaction fees and how it affects our business. And I can say it affects it only a little bit because Bitcoiners and also Monero customers, they bundle their purchases. So people are not coming to ShopInBit to buy the toothpaste alone. They're buying the toothpaste, they're buying toys for their children, they're buying lingerie for their wives, and a bicycle and a TV and whatever. So they have pretty big orders in one chunk, and then they just send max fee. Like they don't give a damn. It's like, seriously, like there's no. I've seen people spend 50 sats per VByte. I've seen people spend 600 sats per VByte. No sweat. Always max fee because they just want to have it done and ready. So this could be a bigger problem in non-industry countries, like outside of Europe. Like I can imagine Asia and Africa is a way different field, and that there are more low transaction fee solutions needed. But for the US and Europe and I don't know, maybe Japan and China, no, I don't think that's a big, but I cannot speak for outside of EU. But from my personal experiences, no one cares. It's a true point. Like,
but indications are there, right? Like you said, in November, you saw Monero overtake Bitcoin.
That was
for that exact reason, right? Because people are like, I'm not going to spend $20 to send, even if I'm buying $300.
It was almost 50. So
that's crazy. I mean, even if you're buying $1,000 worth of stuff, you're going to be like,
it's
hold
still
on
too much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, mostly it's more in the, like, I don't know, 50 cents to 3, 4, 5 euro range. And then people just say, fuck it, right? It's like PayPal fee, I guess. But but for PayPal, we actually charge extra. So it's still cheaper.
Oh, you do? People can use PayPal if they want?
Yes, of course. Okay. We tried without, and the problem is that the algorithms of the search engines found out that it's probably not a good idea to feature websites that don't have PayPal at all or any type of regular payment. So your SEO gets turned down, and I think we made it was quite the impact that had on our marketing just to put PayPal back on the page. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't thought it was that big of a problem, but I could also tell you some stories about doing Google advertising as a crypto company, but that's a topic for another day. But coming back to the transactions, or the transaction fees, yes, you're totally right. Like there's a sweet spot where people don't care for their transaction costs on Bitcoin, but that has been breached a couple of times. So it will be interesting to see what solutions might come up with, especially with the competition from Monero coming as a means of exchange. So because I think as soon as this, I got sent some messages a couple of last days because I was wondering why Monero was dropping off so hard just because Binance delists. I mean, like, who the fuck uses Binance? I still don't understand why people use Binance. Like, seriously, especially for Monero. Like,
large exchange, but well, you know, a lot of people
right?
are apparently using it. Yeah.
Whatever. Like, if you're looking for a scammy, then you have to go to Binance. Sorry, I personally, I'm not a fan of Binance, but
I don't use it. Yeah. I don't use any exchange, but yeah.
Yeah. So there was this, I don't know, let's call it conspiracy theory that that Binance is somehow selling fake Moneros or something like that. And since Monero gets delisted on the 20th, I'm very interested to see what will happen with Monero. But we saw that it already has recouped much of the price losses of the last week. So still okay, I guess. So
exciting.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
exciting. I mean, it's probably
exciting.
going to be maybe a nothing burger, right? Because like the news already happened, right? Everybody already panicked, and who knows? But so where do you see you've been in crypto for a very long time. You came there with the right mentality, right? So from day one, you're an ad cap guy, so you really understood this stuff, the importance of it. You also intimately work in the field, creating a way for people to actually use crypto. So you understand this stuff really well. Where do you see things going then in terms of like Bitcoin, Monero, Lightning Network, and you know, the tools that people end up using in the future for transacting? How do you see this stuff playing out? Or too soon to tell, but given what you know today, I mean, where do you see things headed?
I think the time of bullshit narratives will come to an end because I think people don't have that much time left anymore to just go, okay, yeah, the next big blockchain and the other bullshit term that gets thrown around, like in the 2017 hype, right? Where all the ICOs popped up, and like 2021 where you have the NFTs. And I think the big playing field in the near future will be how easy can you use the coins in your day-to-day life, right? Whether it's Bitcoin or Monero doesn't make a difference. It's just about like how easy can you live your daily life with it? And as soon as that expands into broader terms, like here we with ShopInBit, we offer quite a lot of products, but there will always be products that we cannot offer. Like, for example, if you want to buy meat, for example, it makes more sense to buy it from your farmer next door, right? Or close by to you, right? And I think the coin that can build its own circular economy the fastest will have the easiest path going into the future. Like, because with the rampant inflation, government overreach, and all that other stuff that governments does, so it will really, I personally think it will depend on that. So are the wallets easy to use? Like, can you get your grandma to use a Monero wallet or use a Bitcoin wallet? And they are already, I personally think Monero has the leg up because there's no second layer extra explanation stuff, because you can just say, okay, yeah, here, use this wallet, or you can just, I don't know, use Samurai wallet. I think is kind of a Monero wallet now as well, I guess.
Well, they have atomic swaps, but I don't think you could hold Monero natively on.
Okay. I thought you could also hold it on there, but
they haven't gotten that far yet. But yeah, we have to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think Cake is the one for the mobile, right? Is it Cake wallet? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, you know, you install Cake wallet, have Monero on it. And then you start going, right? And with Bitcoin, you could, of course, use Phoenix wallet, but then you again have to explain why are there extra fees for receiving a payment the first time, etc. So I personally think it really comes down to who can remove the friction without like sucking BlackRock cock, or I guess, and not giving into this whole shenanigans of ETF number go up guys and who can build a circular economy. And I think it's a fair playing field for both, because like Bitcoin has the bigger network effect, right? But as I see it from the Monero economy, it's like way more close knit and way more within their own ranks, instead of just going, okay, I can upload my coins there and then have it exchanged to fiat, and then I buy stuff with fiat. And that's at least my experience that I have. But you guys, you really need to offer more legal, normal stuff as well, because I sometimes have the feeling that we are like the only provider of normal goods in the Monero space within Europe, and that has to change. Like, seriously, like
no, there's a lot happening now. I mean,
okay.
Are you familiar with Monerica? That's a good resource to see the businesses, services that accept Monero. We're starting, we're building XMR Bazaar, but that's hoping to be like a peer-to-peer marketplace. So not like the Amazon approach, but more like the eBay, right? Peer-to-peer, right? So people can go on there, they could sell their old bicycle for Monero, that type of stuff. But yeah, no, I agree. We need to, that's why I'm working on that initiative, right? I totally agree with you. We need, I think that the dark market is great, or the free market, right? Seeing what's going on there, and that Monero is has gained adoption there, is a great indicator that it works. But now we need to also offer other means for people to use it beyond dark markets, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because like it's a good proving point, right? If it works for dark markets, then it works for everyone. But it's pretty hard to argue, like if you're with your grandma and she only knows, like, I don't know, the news, and then it's like, yeah, so did all the hackers use Monero, and did they shut down the hospital with the Monero ransomware? And you're like, yeah, grandma, so no, I'm just selling my honey there. Please try it out. It's better than the money you have under your pillow, right? So so that's what I mean with, you need like positive example. That's why we have like pretty strict policy. No guns, no drugs, no prostitution, nothing. Like, we are so squeaky
boring.
Clean. Boring. Yeah, people would say boring. Fuck it, man. I want to get what was it, blackjack and hookers, and make my own Amazon, right? But no. That's my personal reason for it. I personally,
of course,
I don't like drugs, but you do you, right? Like, I don't want to sell them. Like, there are some things I don't want to sell, and that's one of the things I don't want to say. And the same is with weapons. Like, it's actually almost illegal in Europe to do it, but we're a Polish company. There would be some weapons that we could sell, but I personally chose to not sell any weapons, because if you have some altercations with people, you have to do it mano a mano. Please don't shoot at people. I don't like that. So
man up. Use your hands. Come on.
Exactly.
Be a man. I agree. I agree with that notion. I'm all for the Second Amendment, but learn how to use your hands first. Why Poland? Why'd you guys? Is it just because of where you're personally located, or is there a reason why you started up in Poland?
No, we started in Germany and then switched to Poland because we saw an quite interesting increase of demand from Eastern Europe, and we wanted to have a own little warehouse, and that was feasible as a bootstrapped startup. As I told you, I spent all my coins on fancy dinner dates, so stupid me, I guess. So Poland was in our budget to expand, so we moved to Poland and have quite a nice experience there, because Poland is, like, from a regulatory standpoint, way easier. That was an added bonus, right? We already had extra customers from Poland, but also the warehouse, so we could offer better services as well. And yeah, so that's why it became Poland. Yeah,
I love Poland. I've been there many times.
yeah.
Beautiful place.
Do you love coffee and Monero as much as we do? Consider making gratuitous.org your daily cup. Pay with Monero for premium fresh beans, and if you like what you taste, send a digital cash tip directly to the farmers that made it possible. Proceeds help us grow this channel, Gratuitous, and Monero.
So do you see people do you see there perhaps be like Monero, because I mean you yourself said it, right? You're holding Bitcoin, but you try to spend Monero where it's accepted. ShopInBit accepts Monero. Do you see people directly, which is beautiful? Do you see people like Bitcoiners making the realization like, wait a minute, if I'm going to spend, maybe I should switch over to Monero, spend it as Monero? Yeah, granted, Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous, but do I really want to leave a track or a trace that I made a spend here? Obviously, you know, they might still figure out, you know, who you are, transactions, but still, like, I mean, do you see people perhaps moving in that direction and be like, if I'm going to start spending my crypto and using it, I want to spend it like cash. I don't want the whole world to know. I don't want governments to know. I don't want corporations to know. Do you see that becoming a thing?
Not from the user route. I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I think convenience is still key. So if you hold your net worth in Bitcoin, and the ones who care about privacy either or have already installed Wasabi, Samurai, and have Monero. Like this is a setup I've heard is quite often. Like, okay, yeah, sure. So everyone who's a privacy guy either has Wasabi or Samurai installed and uses Monero. Like there's but they probably won't say it publicly, but I don't give a fuck. But on the business side, on the other hand, I would say that this will be a revelation that will hit some people hard in the face, because they are focusing like either only on Bitcoin or spend their time with integrating shitcoin 325,000 and then find out, oh yeah, they're coming to offload your coins, but they don't have the positive effect of the community like using your service all the time. But with Monero, in comparison to the other coins, you have a real community that they will come to you, they will support you, they will send you emails with Google Fonts, and also recommend you to their friends, right? And that's the two big things about Bitcoin and Monero, is that you get the communities with them, and they are real communities. They're not fake, propped up ape NFT communities that only exist to wash money. No, they're actually there to use the coin. And that's the angle that other businesses will realize after trying out all the shit coins or doing the, as I like to call it, the fake Bitcoin only. There's like there are some LARPers. I'm today ranting again. I'm sorry, but but there's one thing that gets me like super angry, and that's people who are acting like they're Bitcoin only and then put credit card, PayPal, Amex and shit on their website and say, yeah, we're only Bitcoin only. No, bro. Bitcoin only means you only accept Bitcoin. No fiat, no liquid, no other shit, just Bitcoin and Lightning, and that's it. But there are like, I think, a handful of people who are actually that level of Bitcoin only. And it's kind of LARPy to me, because if you, like, from a business perspective, you could say, okay, I don't like Monero that much, but I can use it as a fiat alternative. And then it's still better than PayPal and Co. because you, A, don't pay the ridiculous 3% or 4% fees to PayPal, have no chargebacks, and people can use it, and it's private. So it's actually quite nice. So you could see, like, I think will be a change in the near future for other store owners or sellers or entrepreneurs, that they will say, yeah, Bitcoin and Monero. Because Lando said Bitcoin and Monero are the only two coins that you need to care about. And that's an easy choice to make. But if you have like this plethora of coins, and no, this will not happen. But from the user side, the user is always doing the things most important to them. And unfortunately, for most crypto users in general, privacy is not a concern. Like, we as privacy nerds, we will go to Monero. We will use all the privacy tools for Bitcoin as well. But if you're just like, I don't know, John Doe, and just trying to buy some, I don't know, some honey from your neighbor, you're using what you have, right? And that can be Bitcoin or that can be Monero. That really just depends on with what you're coming into contact first.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it goes beyond just privacy nerds, though. I mean, I think it's people that would, the same type of people that would want to spend cash in the real world, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to be a privacy nerd to want to see the value in cash, right? I think the cash is king, right? It's because people know that they could spend it. Nobody knows. The government doesn't know they spent it. I think that's a meme that's kind of universal out there.
Yeah. It's the same saying in Europe as well. So cash is king.
Right. So when do we see that transition to the cash is king in the digital world, and people are like, you know what? If I'm spending money, I'm spending untraceable cash, right? It's like, why would I spend anything else? But you don't see that becoming kind of a thing that people, especially Bitcoiners, right? Because they're constantly talking about these ideas, so it seems like they understand it. But at the end of the day, they're just like, it's just easier to send the Bitcoin transaction because I already have the Bitcoin.
Yes, and I think for the general public, I guess it will only be interesting when it's probably too late, when the CBDCs will come. So then people will ask, okay, like, I want to have my cash transactions back. On the EU front, it's actually quite a good thing that Brussels is so incompetent that they cannot build any computer system that doesn't get hacked within 3 months or something. So there's a good chance that the CBDCs will never see the day of light because they just hire incompetent people to do that. So I think it will take a little bit longer until people realize that Monero and Bitcoin could be the cash equivalent of the digital world. And then it only depends on what's easier to use, like cash. Like, because cash doesn't need any explanations. It's so easy to use, absolutely ubiquitous. But both for Monero and Bitcoin, you still have to install one app. And that's already a hurdle that you have to take, because you have to be some type of technical. And then the next hurdle will be, how easy is it to use the coin? And my personal feeling is that currently, to spend your coins privately like cash, it's easier to just use Monero. That's my personal viewpoint. So Bitcoin has to step their game up to get that handled. And I don't know, there are so many technical solutions. I'm running a business. I have no time to check all the new proposals and bips and what people will try to do. I was hoping that Lightning would pick up a little bit faster, but Lightning currently is now in a pretty good usable state with these wallets. But running it on your own node, that's not as easy. That's not as easy as opening up your on-chain wallet and then just sending coins, right? So I think Wasabi does a great job as well for mixing your coins. But then again, you have to explain to people, what? Why do we have to mix? Like, I don't understand, right? And then it's like that's the extra. People misunderstand that you have like unlimited capacity to make decisions or given per day, right? So there's this, I think, phenomenon called decision fatigue, right? So if you're like, you don't have to be like a big CEO or something to have decision fatigue. It already is enough if you're like a nurse and have to do decisions all day, and then you come home, and then you just want to spend your money on something, right? And then decision fatigue kicks in and will let you choose the one which is most convenient because you don't care. At this point of the day, you have your like, I don't know how long nurses work, too long. 14 hours shift, right? You just came back from a 14-hour shift, people threw up on your shoes, and someone tried to stab someone with with something, right? And then you come home and just want to, order something, or want to get a pizza, or go out with your girls, right? And then you have to first do privacy enhancing options first, or you have to dive into that topic to learn it or just use it. And that's like the point where I see Monero currently has the leg up, is you just open up your app and you pay it like, what's it, the American Venmo, is it called, or something? So it's super easy to, yeah, right? So that's like the point I see there. So ease of use will be king, and who can build the circular economy the fastest will probably win. Or if there's type of to win, right? Because as an MCAP, I say, yeah, so competition between currencies. So there will always be multiple currencies. Like there is no monotheistic worldview. There cannot be only one coin. This is not Highlander. There will always be other coins, and everyone will compete against each other, and that keeps people in check. Because even in the Bitcoin economy or the Bitcoin community, you have some developers who are like, yeah, so they're in the more, let's call it, edgy realm of living their life, I guess. And I do not agree with what some of these people say, and I find it quite appalling. If you're like, I have one personal gripe with someone, but I will not repeat it, but it's about using credit cards instead of Bitcoin. And I was so furious when I read that, but that's the point, right? There are also people there, but they need to be kept in check. And that's what I see in other coins doing as well. But personally, I only see it in Monero because the other coins, like just maybe USDT, but USDT is just fiat, but digital. And yeah, whatever. Right. But yeah, that's like,
so what do you then think about, I mean, we kind of glossed over this, so but what do you think about the delistings, right? So obviously fundamentally great thing, right? So it's forcing people to obtain their Monero in the best way possible without KYC, using decentralized exchanges, or even just acquiring it by accepting it for a service or a good that you're selling, right? So it's pushing people towards the ideal, but at the same time, it's also, I mean, you're a usability guy, you understand people are lazy, the market is what it is. How do you see that playing into Monero achieving this circular economy and achieving, the liquidity it needs to function as good money?
I think the delisting is like, what was it? The Barbara Streisand effect. It's like the most idiotic move governments could have made to delist it, because you can like you asked me about our usage of coins, right? So we have about, I think currently we are at 70% crypto payments, and Monero is, I think, about 40%, and Bitcoin is like 45%, and the rest is for Lightning, and it's for Lightning, right? So it's pretty high already. And with Monero, you can already see that it's actually being used in the real world, because you have the free market, right? And it's been on the map for quite a while, and now it has this big resurgence through this extra free marketing of, hey, Monero has been delisted because it's a privacy coin. And everyone who has like 2 brain cells understands, okay, if they are delisting it because it's a privacy coin, there might be something to that privacy that I can use for myself. So And the for Monero, it's not, I think, not that big of a problem to get delisted, because there is already a circular economy growing, right? And it's because for a circular economy to work, you don't need centralized exchanges, because people go to centralized exchanges if they have no one in their vicinity to explain to them how it works. But as the circular economy grows, people will get sucked into this ecosystem directly in the right way. So they will go to a meetup, they will exchange their cash for Monero, for example, and then start spending it at their neighbors and or sending it to their relatives all over the world, etc. So I think the delisting is probably the blessing in disguise that Monero needed to become even a bigger coin in general. That's my personal feeling on it. Yeah. I cannot hear you. You're still muted.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sneezing over here.
No problem.
I feel this. I feel the same way. But I thought maybe your opinion would be a little different, given that you're very much tapped into usability and the need for people to be able to do things easily. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you there.
No, I'm still, yeah, the usability will be problematic for mainstream appeal, but I believe in people, right? So if there's like, you only need like one person to start something to make a big change for Monero or for Bitcoin or for humanity at all, right? You don't need like hundreds, thousands of people. You just need someone who has an idea and executes on it, right? So, because like when I started with ShopInBit, like I had a couple of thousand products or something, like, I don't know, 2,000 products it was, right? And now 5 years later, I'm here talking to you, like you heard of me, and we're like a couple of thousand kilometers away, and we have made so much positive impact, either for Bitcoin and probably also for Monero, for privacy in general, for the understanding of people, that they can use their coin on an everyday basis and just buy regular stuff with it, right? And if I was able to do it, like I have no university degree, I'm just doing my thing, and thought, okay, it would be neat to just use your coin to buy stuff without going to vouchers stuff and exchanges and all that stuff. No. And for Monero circular economy to succeed, you just need someone who starts something and then keeps at it like a maniac. And I've met so many wonderful people in the last years since I've become a public persona, you could say, with starting ShopInBit, that are doing so many things for the whole crypto space. And through the customers that I met that explained to me what they are doing in the space, some of them, they are not even in these discussions. They're just coming at it from a business perspective, and they say, yeah, Bitcoin and Monero, that's like the two that we use, and that's where we get our revenue from, and they're using it. And there are probably so many people out there that you don't see that have onboarded more people than we both combined have. And that's the power of the free market. Like, you cannot see it, you cannot really understand it, but it's ridiculous. Free markets provide, and free markets will prevail because they are logical. It's a logical thing to do to try to improve your own situation in life. Like, it's not just because someone says, yeah, okay, we need to, I don't know, what's the current spiel of environmentalists is to reduce CO2, right? If you're just thinking about it, the best solution to reduce CO2 will be to just plant more trees. Just plant more fucking trees. You don't have to do anything else, because that's like their vigor. Like, that's what trees live on, right? But they're not doing it. And the free market solution will be, if someone says, okay, we have too much CO2, what do we do? The first guy will come up and say, you know what, just do more trees. Like, trees, man, that's my business. Trees. I do it all the day. And free markets find solutions. And free markets don't exist. There are only people. Like, people interacting with each other. There is no free market and there is no government. It's only people interacting together. And you can choose to either work together voluntarily or get out the baton and hit people on the head to get your will through, right? That's the two solutions you have. But both work by the same principle, the invisible hand, in both ways. So I believe in people. Like if you walk around like a Monero conference or a Bitcoin conference or whatever meetup, you see that there are people, they want to do something. And that's like the mini tiny fraction of what is happening all over the world, because everyone is in a different state of its life and wants to have a different, like, I don't know, want to change his circumstances in other ways, right? That you quite possibly probably cannot fathom, because they are so, like, live in a totally different state of mind, I guess, right? Because, well, we're in a way similar, right? We are both living in first world countries. We have working fiat environments, and we could, of course, just like lean back and say, yeah, fuck it, whatever. I just use the euros, use the US dollars, and live my life. But we chose not to. We chose this life. We chose the honorable way of free markets, right? And try to find a solution to the woes that we have no privacy anymore when doing any fiat payments that are not cash-based, overreaching control, whatever, right? So, but there are other people on the other side of the world that, like, they have no access to any bank accounts, they have only cash, and they would like to have a solution so they cannot get robbed at daylight easily. So they search for a digital solution, but they don't trust governments. And then they come to Bitcoin, they come to Monero, and then they see a solution, and then they might get invested into finding out more about it. Some will not, some will just use it as a vehicle to live their life, and that's fine too. But it just takes one person to go above the minimum of, okay, I have the coins, I'm exposed to it, but wants to go a step further and say, okay, you know what, I want to build something. Because that's human civilization is about building stuff for the future. Like, and one positive side effect is that the Bitcoin and Monero community seems to be getting more children. So that's a good sign. Like, everyone else is like, oh my God, there are no children anymore. We're declining, and it's what can we do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but take a look at us, right? Bitcoin and Monero daddies, yeah. So we're just snapping it out, right?
That's funny.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. So, and that's my point. Like, people do shit. People fix stuff. Bitcoin doesn't fix shit. Monero doesn't fix shit. People.
It's a tool.
It's just a tool. They give you more options, and they give you the free market option, which you don't have with fiat. So if you just like, if you would play my e-commerce game in the fiat world, oh my God, I would probably hang myself already, because that's a cutthroat business where you're always in danger of getting bankrupted, because like, the biggest concern you have as an e-commerce store is payments, like that they work and that you receive your money. And you're always at the whims of whimsical companies who are like, oh yeah, I don't know. Like, currently we have problems with PayPal. Like, I could talk about that, right? So PayPal is just blocking our payments, not that are coming to us, but payments that we send to our companies. Although we have established business business relationships, and they're like, yeah, so it's under scrutiny. I don't know. We're just checking it. We're not sending the money yet. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, how dare you to tell me who I can send money to? And then we're not talking about some shady, I don't know, Caribbean island companies where we try to send money to. No, we're talking about European companies, big established companies. It's not like some normal shit, but that's the day-to-day life. And then, like, or my personal favorite is also the other way around, right? You are too successful with PayPal. They will keep your money. You have to argue to get your money back. Like, the kind of stress that can kill people, that has probably killed people. I'm overreaching it.
Yeah, when you're using both, right, in a business, you really see crypto shine. I mean, we use it, in our businesses, and anytime we have to use the traditional banking system to send somebody a payment, or it's just like it's agonizing, right? Compared to like, can you please just accept Monero or something, any crypto, and we'll just send it to you. It's just like no questions asked. It's disgusting how difficult the traditional banking system has become.
Yeah.
So before we close it out, I mean, tell us a little bit more about ShopInBit. I know you kind of glossed over some of the services. What's the most popular thing that's sold or service that's used?
From the products, it's iPhones. I don't know why, but people love iPhones.
I know you keep saying that. I know you keep saying the Google phone thing, but I mean, a lot of people like to do the graphene, right? They like
they are also quite popular, but iPhone is like way level higher. It's a way bigger.
Do you sell Pixels, or you're saying you don't because of the Google? Because you should be selling the Pixel phones.
No. We are selling the Pixel phones, and because of Graphene OS, and they're also quite popular, but not as much as iPhone, because you asked for most popular.
Okay.
But right now, also from our services, so we actually have 3 services. So there's Concierge, Travel Agency, and ShopInBit Cars. And I think currently Concierge and Travel are the two are more used than Cars because, well, I think the price is not high enough right now for most people to buy a car. But for some it is. So that's also picking up quite the steam. The concierge service. So really easy explanation is you tell us what you want and we organize it. So that can be anything from, bonsai trees for your garden to a server rack or, high-end fashion or I think we actually paid for a funeral one time as well, so that's also possible. And so it's the make a wish come true service. It's probably the easier explanation. So whatever you have in mind and you don't want to use euros or US dollars, then we can organize it, and worldwide. So it doesn't matter if you're in Europe or in the US or in Asia or Africa or in Australia, we can organize all that because, well, we have the fiat means to organize everything. And that's that. The travel agency is the other part, which is, as the name explains, it's a travel agency. So you tell us where you want to go, and we organize all the travel stuff for you. That can be flights, hotels, villas, etc. So, for example, if you want to really go overboard, we can do that too. Like we had this one customer who did this honeymoon trip to Morocco for, I think, was it 2 or 3 weeks? I'm not 100%. It was quite a long time, and he wanted to have luxury on the looks. So they had a private villa with on-premise stuff and an infinity pool.
Oh, wow.
It was I think it was 25K. So it was quite expensive travel, but we could do that as well. And we also can do all the travels to the conferences, be it either crypto or not. And we also do it for businesses and for private persons. So as I mentioned, Wasabi, for example, is one of our corporate users of our travel agency. So we do all their company travels as well.
We might hit you guys up for some travel needs. We're doing Monerotopia, our Monero conference in Buenos Aires in Argentina.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, maybe get the word out, and maybe you guys could help us with that, or that could be a service that you offer to our attendees.
Yeah, of course.
How does it look with fees? Like if buying tickets through you versus the traditional way, at the end of the day, are people effectively spending nearly the same amount? I mean, how does it end up shaking out?
it's quite similar. That depends on, so for the product, it depends on where we can organize it, but we try to find the cheapest price, and then we just add our hours that we use to find these products, because it's a totally manual thing. For the travels, as I said, we are a real travel agency, so we actually get normal prices. So you're paying almost, in most cases, you pay the same as if you would book it yourself, but that depends on if they are in our partner network for travel agencies. Trevin Keefe is our guy who does all the travel stuff. He organizes with his team all the travels, and he comes up with the craziest stuff sometimes and finds a really great experience. So I guess if you're looking for convenience and want to have like the best experience, be it travel or getting stuff, then these servers are right for you. If you're looking for only the cheapest way, then we cannot outcompete the big players. It's mathematically impossible. So just so if you
convenience goes a long way, though, right? I mean, especially if you got some, you're looking to spend some of your Monero or Bitcoin. I mean, there's a lot to be said for being able to save time as you do it.
So for the travel, for example, it's quite easy. So you just say like, okay, I want to go to Buenos Aires, and what's important to me is I want to fly business class minimum and no layovers. So I want a direct flight. So make it happen, right? And then Trevin and his team would go and search for what's the best flight from your location. You can be Wake, but we need like a country, or like if you're like in the US, it's probably not enough. Probably would be better to state your state at least, so we can make the first preliminary searches, and then you get an answer back with all the options that you have and what we would recommend. For example, what we do not recommend are low-cost carriers, because it's so ridiculous how much trouble they make the users. And since we are aiming for the best experience, mostly low-cost carriers don't make the cut. But if you like for Buenos Aires, I don't think there's a low-cost carrier that gets you there. So from Europe, at least. So that will be that. And then you could also ask, okay, and what hotels would you recommend? And what other thing can I do while in Argentina or Buenos Aires apart from Monerotopia? And then we would also like, okay, these are some of the cultural things that you should visit. Or if you like steak, go to this restaurant. Or if you don't like meats, go to this restaurant. So we can. If
you don't like meat, don't go to Argentina. Just don't go to Argentina.
Yeah, don't go to Argentina. Go to California. No, but that's like it's the full service. That's like the service thing is important to me personally. That's why our first service was called concierge, because like in the hotel, you go up to the concierge and say, yeah, I have XYZ problem. Where can I go? And then he tells you. And that's the same on the internet. So yeah, if you like convenience, but with concierge, you have a little bit more privacy, of course, but with travel, again, just so the expectations are clear, you're doing traveling, and traveling is like super regulated. There is not much that you can do, only if you have ridiculous type of money to spend. But then we're talking about private jets, chartering, etc. Then it gets possible. But there are some options if you like really, really need a lot of privacy, but they cost money, and it's not like we're not talking cheap. So there are some options, but that's like case by case cases. So just ask for it.
Submarine trip from Colombia to New York. Can you arrange that?
Probably not, but maybe, I guess, if you have the money for it, we can arrange it. So that's like it all depends on how much are you willing to spend.
The concierge thing is really cool. So it's just taking place in like a chat. Like how is that working? Like you're just
So it takes place in a chat if you're using it through the Wasabi wallet, because we got integrated there.
Oh right, okay.
Through the buy anything button, it's inside the Wasabi wallet. Then it's a chat, but it takes about 24 to 48 hours until you get an answer, because we check So when you send us a request on the website, it's relatively easy. You go to shopinbit.com and you see concierge service. You click on there. Then there's an explanation and a simple form. And the form just asks you the name, so what you want to be called, an email address, and which coin do you want to use, and what country we should ship it to. And then there's a big box, and there you can just start typing. And then you just type in what you want to have. And then our team receives it, checks, okay, you want to have, I don't know, let's say you want to have an iPhone 15 Pro Max with 1 terabyte, and then also a MacBook with Swahili as a keyboard. Like you can order it regular, right? We would have to check if that is even possible. But we also check if it's legal for us to send it to you. Can we provide it fast enough? And all the other shenanigans around about it. So then we send you an offer and say, okay, yeah, this is possible, and it would cost X euros. We always proclaim the price in euro or US dollars because prices are changing, and you can then decide on, okay, if you want to buy it, you click on a special link to our shop, and then you have it again. It states, yeah, this is the product that you want to buy. Press here, type in your data, and then pay it. So
could it be as broad as, hey, what's going on, guys? I gotta do some Christmas shopping this year, or it's Valentine's Day. Looking to spend $200. Throw some options at me. Like, is it like that? Is it like you guys are like interacting?
You can use it that way, but then it takes longer. Because so the best way for you to get a good experience is to be as precise as possible. So with for Valentine's Day, we won't make it because I don't know, maybe if you're in New Zealand or something, then we might still make it. No, just kidding. But you could say, yeah, okay, Christmas is coming up, or Easter, or whatever you're celebrating. Let's say Easter because Christmas was already. So you want to have some gifts for your nephews, right? And then you tell us, okay, the nephews, they are 2 boys, 1 girl. The boys are like around 10 to 12 years old, and the girl is already 16. So, and I need some Easter presents, and I want to spend like $500. Like, what do you have? And then you can get recommendations by our team, and they say, yeah, okay, you could get this, this, and this because that's currently popular. Or maybe we ask, okay, do you know what they like more? Like, do you like more sports? Do they like anime? I don't know what kids like. I don't know what teenage girls like. Maybe like, I don't know, Taylor Swift, I guess. Yeah, so she's a big Swiftie, I guess. So then we say, okay, yeah, so we have, there are some options, and then you will get options, even if it's that broad. But I would recommend to be a bit more precise. Like if you're just writing, yeah, I need a phone. That's like
your phone now.
Yeah, okay. A phone. That's like we can spend 20 euros on a phone, or you can spend 2,000 euros on a phone.
Right. So do you have engagements pretty often where it doesn't end in a transaction, where it's like,
yes, of course. Yeah, because sometimes some options are not available, or shipping costs are prohibitive. That could be as well. Like, but sometimes we also have the other way around. That's like we had this one case that my team told me that there was this guy from one European country, and it was cheaper for him to buy it through us, ship it from Poland to his country, than buying it directly at the store that was next door.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that also happens. So it goes both ways, but for me, it's important to understand
what was he buying? Some like Polish product? Was he buying like?
No, he was buying this. I think it was
or something.
No, it was an LG or some big brand.
It's cheaper to buy that in Poland and have it shipped. Okay.
Yeah, it was like some big brand 80-inch TV. It was a ridiculous size, but it was cheaper to buy it through us than through. But that's a rare case. Usually we are on par. So, but I had some points that I wanted to make. Oh yeah, right. So when you're sending in your request, right, you always get offers. You have to then decide if you want to take it. Like, there's no payment for our research. beforehand. So if you do not like what we have to offer, you can just say, oh yeah, no, I don't know, I don't like this, or I changed my mind, or the shipping cost is too prohibitive. I don't know. Because sometimes there are items that are not as easily shipped, right? And so, like we had this one guy who bought a harp, like a harp, full-blown harp, and we had to send it to the other part of Europe, but he had the money to spend on the shipping, but the shipping cost alone was like, I think, 450 euros or something. So I forgot how much the harp cost, but I think it was quite expensive as well. But you get the point, right? So you always have the option, and you could say we go into a service first and get paid afterwards, right? But when you receive the offer from us, you can be 100% certain that we can fulfill on it. If we cannot do it, we will just send you back. It's impossible for us to get this product. Why? Because sometimes there are companies that do not want to sell to Polish companies, or companies who don't sell outside of the US or something like that. And some products cannot be easily imported, and we would have to, that makes it difficult, right? But when you get an offer from us, you can be 100% certain, okay, they can actually get it, and you also get a time frame when you will receive it. But I would always...
How are you guys like scaling up? Like, I mean, I so you have a couple of guys that are on hand that are ready to answer a question at any time, and that must be hard to like the logistics behind the concierge service must be a little difficult, no? So for concierge, it's relatively difficult to scale up, because it's like the manual labor of love, as I like to call it. So that's what I say I like humans, right? People fix stuff, and that's like the service you're paying for is that we fix a specific purchasing problem you have. So there is not that much scaling apart from growing the team. But since customer service is like the biggest thing for me personally, we are slowly scaling the team up, because people have to be schooled. Is that the right term? Yeah, I'll just call it schooled. Trained.
Thank you. Trained is the better term, right? So they need to be trained and explained to. And some of our newer staff, they are not from the crypto space. They have nothing to do with crypto, but they do excellent work. And then that's a good point. So I will just expand my rant. No, it's not a rant. It's a positive thing. So we have this new employee, and they're like have no touching point with crypto. They heard about cryptocurrencies and this illegal internet shit, and they maybe have seen some Netflix movie about some scam coin, and right, that's their touch point. But then they come into our company, and then they see, okay, flexible work times, everything is remote, you can work from wherever the fuck you want, right? And there's no restrictions, and the whole atmosphere is like, okay, like this is your field, go at it, right? We have some kind of boundaries for what you can do, but the rest is like, if you get the job done and the customer is happy, everything is fine, right? And then they
do you pay your employees in crypto if they wish?
If they wish, yes, but most currently do not, because they are either in jurisdictions where it's problematic because of extra taxes, or they just don't want to have that associated on their. It's a regulatory thing. It really depends.
And so are most of them like working on commission then? Is it like commission based?
Or is it, no, it's like freelancing, I guess. Yeah, so they just send us invoices, and then for some, it's some of our employees who do the freelance stuff, they can actually just put it in Bitcoin or Monero, but mostly they want to get paid in Bitcoin. No,
I'm saying, but do they work for commission? Like if they, if they help you, if they're a concierge and they sell a guy a BMW, is it like
no? They are actually not. I have that in place specifically for that, because buyer's remorse is very dangerous, especially in this in our crypto field, right? So as I alluded to earlier with the reputation, and you want to run a privacy company, you cannot have any privacy for yourself, right? The same is with your reputation, right? Your reputation is hardly built. It took me at least, I would say, a year to have some decent reputation with ShopInBit. And now, after 5 years, we have a pretty good reputation. But it takes one customer who says, this was a fucked up experience and I didn't got what I wanted. Game over. Mm-hmm. Because you know the crypto space. You know,
on
like,
Reddit. Yeah.
You're fucked, right? So so that's why I learned that in my previous fiat life, I guess. I was a project manager in a call center. And every time you have this commission-based selling, people start being pushy because it affects your bottom line. But the concierge service is not there to sell you something. For me personally, it's better that you do not buy something from us if you're not 100% certain you want it. Like 99%, don't do it. Like, especially like for a car, it's a great example. We sold a car like a couple of weeks ago, and I told the guy, like, if you're not 100% certain, don't buy the fucking car. Just like 99% is not enough. 99% is not enough. You have to be 100% certain. You sit in the car, touch the lever or fake lever, whatever, right? And smell the car and drive it around for a test spin and sleep over 2 nights about it, talk to your wife about it or your spouse or whatever, and then make the buying decision. Because the last thing I need is that you bought, like, I don't know, let's say you bought a Lamborghini, right? Yeah, you bought a Lamborghini, and then 2 weeks later, you feel buyer's remorse, like, fuck this car. Man, shit, I should have taken the other one because it was way better and whatever. And then you have resentment against ShopInBit. And me personally, of course. And then you will badmouth us at every situation, even though you got the Lamborghini, right? But it could be that you're like, fuck, man, this guy, and I have this Lamborghini now, and now whatever, it doesn't make me as happy as I thought. So, like, we had quite some insane requests in a big price range, like the yacht. We had this one customer who wanted to buy a aluminum yacht, and they are like, they start at they'd start at $1 million, even if they're only like, I don't know, 35 feet or 40 feet. They're not that long, but since they're aluminum, they're practically unsinkable. You have to shoot cannons at it to sink it. You could just, crush an iceberg, no problem. It's just a dent. You go to the next harbor and have it fixed, right? And this customer, like, he took, I don't know, it probably took us like 6-7 months or something for showing the yachts. And he decided on none of them, right? But that's okay. Because if he would have just, like, decided on one and then was unhappy with it, this is not a situation I want to be in. Like, if you're not 100% happy with your purchase, then please don't do it. Yeah. So, but
awesome,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, sorry, that was a long explanation.
No, it's all good. So what is next for ShopInBit? Where do you see this all going?
Yeah, so we have something quite big coming up that I cannot talk, unfortunately, about right now, but you will see it in the next 2 to 3 months. And it unfortunately, it has nothing to do with the US, but it's a different type of beast. And I think some people will be, going crazy for this, what we're doing next. It's a pretty big and bold move, I guess, but it will be pretty cool. And I'm super excited about it, but I cannot talk about, unfortunately, because it's a very, very big thing. And I think it will kick off our next expansion.
To be clear, people in the US can use ShopInBit. It's just that things are getting... Okay.
Yes. So, that's a good point. So, we are shipping outside of the EU to the US, Canada, Great Britain, and Switzerland. But we can also ship outside of these countries, but only through the concierge service. When you go to the website directly, you can ship to the US, but then there are also shipping costs added, of course, and depending on the type of product, because some items are pretty heavy, so they're difficult to ship, and it's all export. So you have to pay customs duty at the border. I know that's a big problem for some of the Monero guys. I totally understand it. Even for Bitcoin guys, it's a super hassle to work with customs, especially in the US. But for the concierge service, what we also can do is buy stuff within the US and have it shipped to a PO box that you like. So that's also an option. So there's no customs involved, and you can remain as private as legally possible. So yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, but also if you're from Argentina, etc., that's all no problem. But then only through concierge.
Right. So the concierge, it feels the same no matter where you are, whether you're in the US or Europe.
Doesn't make a difference.
Because then you're just kind of buying, the concierge is buying locally and then shipping to the person.
Exactly. And if it's not possible, we will explain to you how we would source it from within Europe and ship it to you. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Where are you getting your best margins? Like, where are you making your most money off of the concierge service, off of the products being sold?
Sex toys.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's the internet. Yeah. So people using Monero to buy dildos is where you're making the most money right now. Is essentially what's going on.
Yes, I would just leave it at that. Probably though.
Hey, it's the free market, right? It's the free market.
Like that's something people want to make love and experience love. So I guess.
Were there any specials for Valentine's? Were there any? I mean, it's a little late today. By the time we get this up, we'll be post Valentine's.
No, but we regularly have some offers for Loop. So if you want to get the kink in, we got some for you. Oh yeah, but you always get 3% discount when paying with Bitcoin and Monero. And within the EU, you get free shipping from 21 euros.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, but only within the EU. For outside, doesn't work out. But it's the same for Bitcoin and Monero. So we are treating Monero equally on the page. So there's no difference. And we run our own node on our BTC Pay server. So as you can see, it's not just the open source talk, but you will see it when you open the payment page that it's the BTC Pay server. Like
awesome.
Yeah.
I use the Monero gateway for my businesses, but I'm thinking I got to move over to the BTC Pay server. I think it's very smooth.
Yeah, it works pretty well. So especially with Monero, it's like one of the easier coins to integrate once you set it up. So.
Lando, man, thank you so much. This is fantastic. And thank you for, supporting Monero and accepting Monero. Obviously, you're not doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You're doing it as a businessman and a believer in, sound money. You found your way to accepting Monero, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah, but again, there is no bad reason for doing stuff. It's just that it's done, right?
Exactly.
So if... Like for me,
I'm glad the incentives align there for you, right?
Yeah, of course.
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Like again, like you're already 40% of our crypto customers, right? So
it's huge.
It would be stupid to not accept Monero. That's my tip for everyone out there. If you're already running a crypto business and not accepting Monero, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're wasting revenue. And like, when you run a business, you have to make decisions to make more revenue. Like to end with a Mises quote, right? Profit is the signal of the market whether your goods and services are valuable to society or not. So if you're leaving profit on the table, are you valuable to society or not? So debunk that Mises. That's the last thought, I guess.
Awesome, man. Well, that's a good quote to end on. Any chance we see? I know you said you're going to be at MoneroCon. Would love to. Maybe pull you over to Monerotopia in Argentina. I don't know if it's too far for you, but that would be fantastic.
When is it going to be Monerotopia?
November. It's going to be alongside La BitConf. Same time they're doing La BitConf. November, literally the first weekend in November. So November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
That might be possible that I can
Throwing
still
it out
make
there.
it.
Just throwing it out
But
there. Yeah.
I will put it because I haven't been to Argentina before, and I want to eat that steak, that good Argentinian steak in Argentina, but pay a fraction of the price that I pay here in Europe. So
It is well worth it just for that, you know. And Malay is the president down there, right? So it's an anarcho-capitalist dream a little bit going on down there. I mean, we'll see how things shake out, but it seems like he's legit. So
yeah, as usual, prepare for the worst, pray for the best.
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah.
All right, Lando, man, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you again for inviting me, Douglas. It was a very nice talk, and I got the opportunity to rant again. So
go ahead and everybody knows ShopInBit, but go ahead and say the URLs and your Twitter, your personal Twitter, if you want, or anything you want to put out there for people to find you.
Sure. So ShopInBit.com is our website. If you want to read my ramblings on Twitter, but I've been a little bit quiet the last few weeks, but it's L Rothbardian at Twitter, or you just type in Lando Rothbardian. There's no second one, so I checked. And at ShopInBit is also our Twitter. I don't think we are on Nostr yet. I'm personally on Nostr, but I didn't check in for quite some weeks. But yeah, Twitter and our website are the best two places to get in touch with us.
Are you? One last question: Are you potentially hiring at any point? Maybe there's some people out there that would want to do concierge, get paid in Monero, right? Just throwing it out there as an idea. I don't know.
Yes, not now, but after the thing that I cannot talk about, we will probably be starting to hire a bit more aggressively. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
cool,
I keep it ominous. I'm sorry. I want to tell you about it because it's so cool, but I
mysterious, not ominous. It sounds good and
ominous
hopeful.
is negative. Is ominous? Ah, okay. So mysterious.
Well, it could be. Yeah. I would say mysterious.
The mystique.
Yeah. But your English is fantastic, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I don't know where you picked that up, but
lots of scrubs and 3-6 Mafia. Yeah.
All right, brother. This was fantastic. Greatly appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much, Douglas. And have a nice morning, I guess.
Will do. All right. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode. We release new episodes every week. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube, Odyssey, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go to MoneroTalk.live to subscribe for a full list of places where you can watch and listen. If you want to interact with us, guests, or other podcast listeners, you can follow us on Twitter. And please leave us a review on iTunes. It helps people find the show, and we are always happy to read them. So thanks so much, and we look forward to being back next week.